We've got Chris on technical, Neil on insight, and Steve in the driving seat. It's Talking Formula One.
Hello and welcome to Talking Formula One. We're back. It's been a good few weeks since we've been here, of course, but we are back. How are you doing, Chris?
Yeah, all good. How are you?
Good, very well, thank you. Yeah, very well. Enjoying some Formula One. Now it's back after the summer break, and of course, I'm happy to be doing this again after a month or so off. It's certainly been a while. How's life been treating you?
Well, it's been long without F1, I can tell you that for sure.
Absolutely. It's been a long old summer break, isn't it?
And I haven't had my football team to get me out of the doldrums, have I? So
No, that's the fun thing. When you get the summer break in Formula One and there's nothing happening in terms of football either, and then you get a couple of weekends into the season and it's an international break. Love it. But there we go. Of course, we are talking about the Dutch Grand Prix from this weekend just gone, and it wasn't a bad race all in all. I know it can be a bit tame at times, a bit boring. You tend to get stuck in a bit of a DRS train after the first couple of laps. But this one, quite exciting. What were your thoughts on it?
that was all right. It was pretty decent. Alonso nearly caused another DRS train. The DRS train's a little bit annoying, but actually, as a race goes, it was all right. I didn't mind it. The good thing about having two drivers, even though in the same car, fighting for wins, is it keeps it sort of going for the whole race. Whereas you've had Max for 4 years, just winning by his own sort of thing. When it's two, obviously Norris puts in a few good laps, gets it down to 2 seconds. You think, we might be on here, and then it didn't quite work out this time, but it was an all right Grand Prix. A few good lunges in the background that didn't come off.
Yeah.
In Charles's case.
Yeah, there were some fantastic overtakes. I love the move from Charles Leclerc on George Russell. That was a
computer game lunge, wasn't it? You've all done it on the game. You just send it.
That was an F1 25 online lobby straight down there. Yeah. But I love it because drivers seem to not tame as such, but they're always so hesitant to make those kind of ballsy moves now. They wait for DRS.
So Gen Z, the bloody whingy bastards.
There you go. But it's I can't make that move. I might get a penalty. I might get told off. And Charles, sod it. I'm going to stick it down the inside. Whatever happens, happens. Love it.
Exactly. Knock a bit of carbon fibre off someone's car. There you happy days.
Yeah. But certainly one driver who is very happy with how the weekend has gone is Oscar Piastri. He's extended his championship lead now by 25 points. Thanks to an unfortunate DNF for Lando Norris. He's now tied on wins with Mark Webber, I think, as well. So, all in all, a very good weekend for Oscar. It was his first Grand Slam, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Well, Oscar's starting to become a very good driver, isn't he? He's wasn't the quickest over the weekend. It was Lando was ahead of him, but when it matters, the second from last run in Q3 and the race, he was at Lando's measure. So
yeah,
now he's got his
yeah, and he sprinted off into the start. And even though Lando did eventually get back past Max Verstappen, great move on Max Verstappen, by the way. He never really had the pace to challenge Piastri, and it looked like that was Oscar's race to lose right from the word go, and he never looked like losing it.
Max in these frames of mind is actually quite good fun to watch, because that turn one is just I couldn't give a monkeys. I'm sending it. I've got one chance and one chance only here, and I'm doing it.
Yeah, and that how he didn't lose it on lap one as well when he got into the dust. And Neil, good evening, welcome in.
Only lost it to Neil.
I know that almost caused me to crash. How you doing?
Not too bad. You're talking about Max in turn one.
Yeah, how did he not drop it coming out on lap one? That was incredible. Most drivers would have probably dropped that.
Yeah, it's really good. It was not quite so good from my perspective because being a McLaren fan and wanting him to stay behind, but it was good all the same.
Yeah, so as a McLaren fan, mixed emotions. Obviously, one car doing very, very well. The other one, not so much.
Well, I caught the race a bit after it was live, so I tried to keep away from the headlines and things, but I did see a comment from Lando, so I went into the race thinking, oh God, what's happened? thinking they were going to wipe each other out or something. But no.
What do we think that it's going to get to a point where Lando's going to go out for himself? Because he said after qualifying that turn 1, lap 1 was the only real chance he's got due to team rules. You don't become a world champion by playing the team game. You become a world champion by doing what you want to do and then doing the team game.
He's got to, hasn't he? Surely start looking out for himself now.
Constructors could be won in 2 races. So that's irrelevant, the constructors and all that jazz. This is arguably, with next year's complete rule change, Lando's one and only chance to win world title. And he's got to think of it like that. And this all nicey, he's got to do what Max does turn 1 and just send it. And if you take me out, you take me out.
Yeah.
We both go out.
Yeah, I'm not convinced is that style of driver, really.
That's why he's not going to be world champion.
You've got to be, haven't you? It's this time. I mean, it's going to be yourself or your teammate. You know, the other cars, although they're there or thereabouts, they're never going to offer a long-term challenge. You know, we've seen Max have a couple of wins, which have been brilliant.
I think the last world champion I can remember who didn't have that streak in him was probably Jenson Button, but Jenson Button had won it by halfway through the year.
All he had to do was cling on.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, that I can't. Everyone, Vettel especially, Max really, Hamilton does it, Rosberg done it. They all have that streak in them that if it comes to it, they're looking after number 1.
Yeah, it's sort of the nicest F1 champions who haven't been, like bastards on track have been Button and probably Hill. That's about it.
Kimi, to be fair, Kimi was quite a team player, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Vettel
was ruthless. Schumacher, Hamilton, they were all when they needed to be.
I generally think from Monza onwards, Lando's got to go in for business for himself.
Yeah.
If he wants to win.
If he's going to start doing things like that, then the team won't give him the in other races when he's found himself ahead and then they've had to do the swap, I just don't think they'll allow him to pit or give him the chance to ever get ahead. They'll basically, in a nice way possible, screw him over because he's not playing the team game.
He's got to put himself ahead on the track by qualifying better. So I just think that it's now or never. He's got to scrap being the nice guy who everybody loves, and he's just got to get a bit of ruthless streak out of him to win this world title. Oscar's going to win it by 50 points, I think.
That's the tricky thing, isn't it? Because you can say, all right, so Lando now needs to get his elbows out and he needs to have that streak in him to really fight. And if that's all well and good until if and when the McLarens do make contact, and obviously they did in Canada, but that was Leo Lando was too eager on that one, and he admitted that. There'll come a time if they do collide on track, make contact on track, the McLaren will say, all right, well, no more racing then. Whoever's in front stays in front. And that'll rob us of a good title fight, but it'll also prove that Lando, he needs to be better in quality, because if he's going to be behind Piastri, he's got no chance of passing him. There needs to be
Do you think that Lando's engine failed because he's spent more time in the wake of his teammate or other drivers, because he's done these poor displays now and again that has put him further back in the field, and he's always been in that dirty air, the hot dirty air, having to push harder?
No, that Mercedes engine's had a few problems this season, hasn't it? And I think he's the one that's got. He's the one who's got that gremlin on that engine. Both Mercedes works drivers had issues. You could argue that Oscar's probably got it coming, maybe, if it's an inherent issue with the engine. But
yeah, McLaren till now have been pretty bulletproof. We've seen all the other Mercedes runners with slight issues, and this weekend it finally happened to McLaren.
So I can hear my child screaming in the background. I'm trying to mute when he starts.
Yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves.
What's his opinion of science?
Don't get me started on that. That's why he's screaming. He hasn't stopped screaming since Sunday.
When I watched it, I couldn't believe he was given a 10-second penalty, and after the race, when I heard that he had been given 2 penalty points as well, I just thought that's absolutely wild. And after I then, since then, have seen Chandok's go over on what happened, and okay, yes, you can do a little bit of a Max Verstappen and play the rules to the letter of the law and end up basically Sainz is not wheel to wheel, front wheel to front wheel level. So basically, as far as I'm concerned, he's not there, and I can do whatever I want. But he lost control of his car.
Yeah.
Lawson lost control of his car. So as far as I'm concerned, that should go against the exact lettering that says it's his corner, because he basically lost it and ended up, colliding with Carlos.
Well, you can
You
say it was
think
a
if
racing
he-
incident, but it's more
Yeah,
Lawson's
if
fault.
he had have launched in there too hard to be able to keep control of his car, then obviously if he had have gone in the speed necessary, Sainz would have been further alongside.
Yeah,
So there's
Yeah.
just this whole bunch of things that I just think Sainz was hard done by it, and at
He's-
most I just think it should have been jotted as a racing
Yeah, I
incident.
think it should have been maybe the 2 penalty points after the race, maybe after investigation, possibly. But during the race, it ruined both the races. They're both done and dusted. It didn't. But one thing that got me was that was a 10-second time penalty, and so was Kimi Antonelli's. So technically, when you look back on that, they're deemed the same thing. When
yeah, that's
clearly,
unfair.
clearly Kimi, I don't know what Kimi did. I don't know if he forgot there was a corner there, but his was far worse and more dangerous, etc., etc. So how do you deem that as the same penalty?
I know. I mean,
You can't really.
no, the Sainz Lawson thing. It was not Sainz's fault at all. He didn't deserve, the 10-second penalty, the 2 penalty points. He didn't deserve to get, the race he had. But yeah, Antonelli punts Ferrari into the wall. It was maybe an audacious move, and it was never going to come off. It was a rookie error, but it's a
I
race.
believe he
error.
was hoping that Leclerc's tyres were that much colder, so he couldn't. You could see the difference, the launch he got in that corner, but he was always coming around the top, wasn't he? And it was always going to be a collision.
That was the second incident. So they had precedent on signs, but I just couldn't sitting there at the time. I couldn't fathom how would they deem that the same penalty. Like if that was a 10-second, you can't go any more than a 10-second time penalty. Then you go into drive-throughs, don't you? So then surely that then should be drive-through because he's literally
Did I
punted
miss
someone.
any ruling? Sorry, Chris. Did I miss any ruling on? Was it Leclerc on Russell? That bit of a I'll
No.
go off the track and stuff one up the inside.
Nah, they left it
That
as
was
it is.
a shoulder barge of all shoulder barges from
Proper racing,
potentially
that is.
off the track.
That's proper racing. That is. He just sent him on out the inside. You got. And as soon as you've done it, George, you're gonna whinge like a little girl, isn't he? But it was
Yeah,
proper
but
race.
what's the difference with he wasn't alongside enough to warrant that space? He off the track, he basically just came back on the track
It
and
probably was
shoved
worthy.
him out the way.
It was worthy of penalty, but this is the problem. It seems to be in the season we've gone one extreme to the other. We started it with no penalties for anything, and now we've gone completely the wrong side of it, and we're giving stupid penalties away for nothing.
Yeah,
I don't
so
get it.
obviously I don't want to cry out for a penalty in that scenario because, like you've mentioned, it's good racing. But when Carlos and that are given stupid things, and they're absolutely trying
I think
to
it
clamp down via
Leclerc probably would have been given a penalty if he'd stayed in the race. I think that's probably what I think. But because he was out of the race, but then you could argue it did kind of ruin George's race. He was about a second a lap off because of the damage. But he finished fourth. He was not going to finish any higher than fourth, I guess. So it was much and muchness. But it's just the penalties at the minute. It's just all over the shop. And then you got Hamilton. Hamilton's got a 5-grid penalty for speeding under double yellows. I've seen the incident. It's a bit harsh, really. But I mean, the rules are the rules.
Miserable weekend for Ferrari.
It's going to be even more miserable now. He's going to qualify 10th and start 15th.
You don't think he's got more in him?
Oh,
I
seven.
just think that Ferrari hasn't got anything in it. It's just, I mean, the two races they do turn up for every season is Monaco, which where did they finish? They finished second, didn't they, or third? Third.
Second,
And Monza. They're the only two races, even if they got a donkey of a car, that they turn up for.
Same as Williams.
Mm.
I'm optimistic. Williams
ain't turned up since.
Or maybe I'm wearing Williams tinted glasses, but I'm convinced the FIA has it in for them because they see both Williams in good positions and think, yeah, we'll give one of them a penalty. Done nothing wrong, we'll give him a penalty, we'll ruin his race because we can't have both doing well.
I didn't realise Albon finished fifth, didn't he? He just snuck in there, little long didn't he?
What a race
His
Albon
start.
had. Lightning, incredible.
I think you got Ollie Behrman who snuck in the, was it 6th or 7th from pit lane?
Yeah,
that was purely just the old-fashioned. We'll hang it out until hopefully there's a safety car until we can't go any further.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what as well. Bloody fortunate, Lance Stroll. Come on, bins it in practice, bins it in quali, starts last, finishes 9th. What?
Does a two-stop. Pits early on a two-stop.
And manages to scam a ninth place finish out of it. Poor Fernando though, he was just left hung out to dry, wasn't he? We need to try an undercut. That's not going to work. You're just going to drop you back down the order. Fortunately, he did obviously get some points. I've got 8 points out of it. But I mean, one driver we haven't even touched on yet. What a race he had. Isaac Hadjar.
Oh,
what a race from him. 4th on the grid in the RB. Racing Bulls, AlphaTauri.
Very good qualifying, which he tends to already do. But the racecraft was good. He didn't make a single mistake, did he?
No.
He was under pressure majority of that first stint from Leclerc, and he kept it all 4 wheels in between the lines and in the right places.
Yeah, I honestly thought we were going to see him get absolutely steamrolled down the start, finish straight, and you'd have Russell going past, Leclerc going past, and he might be able to hang on for maybe 6th, 7th. But no, kept it right up there. What a race!
What is annoying? I had a bet actually, a little cheeky £1 bet on, and it was Piastri to win the race, Hadjar to get a podium, and Ocon to be the first one out of the race. 2 out of 3. I would have returned £430.
Oh no! Well done, Ocon, for finishing.
Oh, Lewis.
At one stage, the only 2 retirements were both the Ferraris. Ooh, that is painful. Yeah, uncharacteristic error from Lewis. He's really not getting on with this car, is he?
No.
To quote a bit of Mick McCarthy, it can't go on like this.
Nah. Do you know what? Every time I see that Ferrari go down the straight, there's something bugging me that it's not right. It's very draggy and it's not.
Where did Leclerc get a pole though? He got a pole, didn't he? This year? Was it Belgium?
No, it wasn't Belgium. It was earlier than that.
It was one of the sprint weekends. He got the sprint.
Well, in all honesty, you go back to China in that sprint qualifying in China, and that Ferrari was quick under Lewis because they rode it. They dropped it to its knees and set it up how they want to set it up, and then they realised that we can't do that because we've just buggered ourselves. And ever since then, the car's been compromised. But every time I go down that goes down straight, they look like they've got a barn door on the back. The DRS, they never get anywhere close to anything.
No. Oh, it was Hungary. He got pole. Out of nowhere.
Which you don't need, high downforce tracks.
Yeah. I know. It's that Ferrari is just it's not good. I know that obviously Hamilton's struggling with it. Charles is having a better time of it. He's currently 5th in the table. Hamilton's 6th, but I think every race. I'm just having a look at their results. Every race apart from 1. Sorry, no 2. Lewis has been behind.
I was watching the sectors and bits and pieces while the race was going on, and actually Lewis was pretty quick. Actually, he was exceptionally quick in the first sector. He was at least 2 or 3 tenths quicker than the 3 guys in front of him. But then comes the middle part of the lap, and they don't have the traction. So when they come out of the second last corner, technically, isn't it? In at the banking, they just haven't got the traction to get into a position of, and then the DRS, open the DRS, and he might as well just kept it shut because they don't even make any inroads on the DRS. And I was just interested to watch that. I think Lewis probably was the quicker of the the four who was in that little quartet. But it was a bit of a DRS train, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'll tell you what has just caught my eye as well, which I wasn't aware of. Yuki Tsunoda is currently 19th in the Red Bull, having scored the points just once since Monaco. Lawson is now up in 15th with a few points finishes in the last few races. So.
I read today, actually, that there's more and more indication that Yuki might still be in that Red Bull next season.
That is surprising.
Because I think Red Bull have realised that actually sometimes it's not the driver. Like that car Max can only drive around whatever problem it is. Checo said it last week on his Cadillac thing, and he said that we
haven't even touched on that.
He sort of intimated that people should appreciate him more for his Red Bull stint of how he drove around that car with who's come after him. But yeah, they're not. It doesn't look like Hadjar's going to be moved up next season, which you kind of have to move him up, don't you? But I think if you that's for his point of view. But as Red Bull, you've got no option, have you? He's the best of the lot, and you've got to give him the opportunity, even if the driver doesn't really want to.
Yeah. No, I don't want to leave Racing Bulls tough. He's
Do you think
big team as a downgrade?
I almost felt that his performances are a little bit on par with Lawson last season. Is he really that much better than Lawson, or do you think Lawson's left or lost a little bit of his since his Red Bull stint and his comeback?
I think
he's lost a little bit.
I think we're seeing Lawson's ability now, which is he's quick, but he's still getting absolutely schooled by Hadjar.
Which is a surprise. Because when we look at the rookies at the start of the season.
Yeah, you shouldn't be, because they're far more experienced than Hadjar, but he's still getting schooled by Hadjar. So that car, actually, you could look at it and think, actually, is Lawson actually performing that well? Because there is arguments. You could say that
up there with him.
That car could be third, fourth, or fifth quickest of the weekend, depending on where you are.
Yeah. How was Yuki doing in that car? I can't remember now.
He did.
That's where his points came from. He think got 10 points in the first 3 races, and then
Yuki, he was there for what? He was in the Red Bull for 2 seasons, wasn't he? And then for 2 races, sorry, in the Racing Bulls. So he didn't score points in the first 2 races, but then in the Red Bull, he's only had 4 points finishes. So I love this season because the midfield battle is incredible. Because this week you had Isaac Hadjar up there, with a surprise podium. And you never get that anymore. Gone are the days where occasionally you see like a Toyota pop up there, or a BAR or something, or a Sauber, like obviously we did have in Silverstone. You never really get that anymore. And it's been great because we've had a few of that. We've had a Racing Bulls on the podium. We've had a Sauber on the podium. I'm still fairly confident we will see a Williams on the podium before the end of the year, because there are certain tracks which do work out well, very well for them. Yeah. And the car is better. It's probably in the hands of Albon.
I can't remember where I heard it already. I don't think I heard it. There was someone say that where would Max put that Racing Bull?
He'd be on the podium.
Well, I reckon he'd be challenging for very much because that Racing Bull is quicker than a Red Bull.
Oh yeah.
So Max was in that Racing Bull. He'd probably actually have half a chance of winning the race.
Imagine that Racing Bull was beating the Red Bull and actually having a better chance of winning the race. Wow. Helmut Marko's looking on going, this isn't what we wanted. Now we need to downgrade, but technically upgrade. But it's brilliant because you go to different races and you have that fluctuation. So, RB were quick, but then you'll go to a race and Williams will be the best of the rest. And then the next time out, it's a Sauber on the podium. The only ones who don't really seem to turn up are Alpine.
Yeah, James Vowell's not expecting a lot from the rest of the season, is he? I think he's I can't remember. He said 2 races that they expect to be decent at, and the rest of them it's going to be a bit of a maximise the weekend and get what you can sort of jobby, because they're not improving the car anymore. So I think Monza was one of them. He said they'll be decent at.
Yeah, it is going to be one hell of a slog. I mean, I'm just having a look. So Williams are 5th on 80 points, Aston are 6th on 62. So, yeah, and then you've got Racing Bulls on 60, Sauber 51. Has 44, so it is close, that whole midfield group. And then you've got Alpine on 20. That's all dead last on 20 points.
Also, I watched the team principals conference on Friday. That's how I am. But they had Briatore on there, and he pretty much said that it's Gasly and someone else next year, not Colapinto. I think he literally said we're looking at the whole market.
Wow.
When you've put that much money in Colapinto, he said that he's seen enough of Colapinto. Reads that as you were, but
you see when the news broke about Bottas and Perez both going to Cadillac. I say broke, everyone knew about it. It was just very poorly kept. When it was finally released, that they said apparently both of the drivers were offered the Alpine seat for next year. They both went, nah, you're right. I'll go to the new unproven team that no one knows how they're going to be compared to the team that's been in Formula One for decades and is an absolute basket case. I'll take my chances with a new team.
That'll be interesting to see how Alpine get in there. So, who's on the way out of the grid, really? Who's not going to be in the seat next year that could be in there? Can't really think of anybody, really.
Lewis.
Lewis and Alpine, let's go. Doohan can make an unlikely comeback.
Who?
Doohan.
He kind of wrote Doohan off. He didn't even mention him. So
I don't know what's going on there because, like you guys have mentioned, Doohan, he wasn't really given a chance. Colapinto was thrown in to be the new messiah, and basically he's now thrown out again as quickly as he was put in.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not the Colapinto we saw last year doing those great races for Williams.
I just can't think of anybody. Who's in F2? Who's leading the F2? I can't see Briatore wanting to get an F2 driver in. I think he seems the kind of guy who's had enough of the youngsters, and he wants to get someone he can trust in.
Yeah, I think the stage really need to, don't they?
Only means one person with Fernando.
Hey,
yeah, but Fernando's already turned him down, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But full well, as soon as Fernando turns a team down, next season they're going to be fighting for the championship. That's just pure Fernando Alonso. When everyone thought he'd made the right move going to Aston, or sort of thought he'd made a stupid move going to Aston, and suddenly
Mercedes engines as well,
wouldn't they? Yeah. But you've got leading the championship, Leonardo Fornaroli.
They got Max. They got Paul Aaron, haven't they? If they're gonna put anybody promoted, I would have thought they'd promote him.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of a murmur that Mercedes could put, because obviously Flavio and Toto are best buds. The Mercedes could put Kimi in the Alpine next year.
Okay.
And then Mercedes brings someone else in for a year, but I don't know who they bring in. Really, that's the thing. So
no, it is a tricky one.
Is that because they wanted Max?
Yeah, it might well have been the Max. If Max did get Max, then that probably would have worked actually, wouldn't it? Because you'd have Russell for another season, then you put Kimi in afterwards. But it is slowly, surely showing that probably is a year too early for Kimi. But
yeah,
but then next year he might be dating. He might start putting it all together. But if he has another season next year like he has this season, you can only see he's the one out of Mercedes rather than George.
They won't get rid of George. And I don't think, is there any other top team realistically that would have George? Ferrari are contracted for a couple of years for Charles Leclerc and Lewis, and unless Charles actually says he wants to leave, he'll stay at Ferrari.
It's going to be an interesting one, really, because you get Lando, I think, end of 26 can leave. Max can obviously leave after 26. George has probably got options after 26. Lewis is out of contract at the end of 26. If Lewis picks up next year and Charles doesn't do much, Charles could probably leave in 26.
Is Fernando the same?
Yeah, Fernando's end of 26. They're all these contracts. They've all sneakily got a season in their teams for the rule change to assess the situation. And then there'll be, I think, next year will be pretty much what we are now, and then the year after will be silly season again.
Oh yeah, it's going to be incredible, isn't it? I can't wait for it.
There's going to be contract negotiations going on everywhere.
Carlos has only got a year left, hasn't he? He's only on to the end of 26. Oh, dog's popping up.
Williams are going to really need. He's either going to have to get some more consistency, or Williams are going to have to show real signs of improvement in 2026.
Yeah.
They've got the strongest lineup for years. and they need.
As
But if-
much as I think Williams need to improve their car, almost feel that when they've been on a good weekend, he hasn't performed as he should have done.
No, he has held the team back. They could have so much more of a gap to sixth place. They're never going to be fourth, but they could have so much more of a gap to sixth if Carlos had actually got it together.
He's been erratic, hasn't he?
That's one word for it. But of course, we're looking ahead to the Italian Grand Prix this weekend. One of my favourite circuits. I love it, and I love the DRS trains you get around there. But you often get some ballsy moves into turn one, and lap one is always absolute carnage as well. So before we do go, let's have your top three in reverse order, Chris.
Charles,
Ooh,
Piastri, Lando.
nice.
You think Lando's going to have a comeback?
I'm hoping he's going to, drink some of that monster he keeps selling and work
nice.
up.
Good. It's good.
It's all right. Melon
You don't
music.
think Max is going to be? Do you think they're going to struggle?
Yeah, I think
straight line.
No, I don't think. I think the Red Bull will struggle.
Neil?
I do think Charles is going to be up there, so I'm going to go Charles third, and I'm going to swap it around. I think Piastri is still going to be on top, so it's going to be Lando and then Piastri.
There's no in the world that you could really go against the McLarens, is there?
No, not at this moment.
It needs a DNF for them not to finish 1-2. If I'm honest.
Well, I'm going to go full delusion, put those blue tinted glasses on. Williams are going to go well as he's done. I'm going to go, of course, Colapinto third. No, Albon third. It's going to be a chaotic race.
There's no rain. It's 25 degrees, so
19-20 for the Williams in that case. No, I reckon it's going to be crazy. It's going to be Albon third because it's going to be a mental race, and the Williams will go well here. And then, Oscar second. And I think Lando will come back. I think he's got it in him to bounce back, I reckon.
Actually, I was speaking to a guy at work yesterday, and I said we agreed that whatever happened to turn one shunts?
Yeah, you don't get them anymore, do you?
It's like they all just go after you. It's like bloody going into two lanes into one on an M25. It's like after you. Well, yeah.
Even Monaco, even with cars that are twice the size now, Monaco, when they were a lot smaller, Monaco used to be a massive pile-up in turn one, and now it's
The sauce ones where they just plough into each other and just take 3 or 4 out the bowling ball, but
you don't get it anymore.
you just don't get anybody
Too
out.
hard, losing it, bang, nothing. Everyone's too careful now. But there we go.
I think the only circuit we have is the Kota. I think is the only one I know that turn one they're a bit. But anyway, that was just something that cropped up yesterday.
The biggest one I can think of in recent years is probably Guan Yu Zhou at Silverstone a couple of years ago. That was my job, 2-3 years ago now.
3 years ago.
Bloody hell. But yeah,
The
you
main
get the
thing
odd
for
front wing.
that
but
is that previous years they didn't have to worry about budgets, did they? So now it's a big thing made of you crash,
Mate.
it costs X millions.
yeah.
If the drivers are thinking about their front wing costs going into turn one, they need to get a new job.
Yep, you're in the wrong job, mate. Charles Leclerc wasn't thinking about his front wing when he sent it on Russell. Right frame of mind. But there we go. That's us done for the week. We are back next week at 7:15. Maybe. We'll be back one day next week, so do keep an eye open. Follow us on Twitter or X or however you refer to it now at Talking F1 Fans, Talking Formula One Fans. It is on there. You can find us. Thank you very, very much for watching. Enjoy the Italian Grand Prix coming up this week, and we'll see you next week to review it all. I have been Steve. Here's been Chris. Here's been Neil. Oops. Thank you very much for joining us. It's great to be back again, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.
Ciao.